My name is Tirzah Cooper, and I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer at the age of 36. Of course, the first thing you think of is, what does this mean? What am I going to have to do? And the first time you hear the word chemotherapy, you automatically just think about being bald and losing all your hair. When I was diagnosed, I had really long, luscious black hair. I am a girly girl. I loved lashes and hair, and when I found out that I was going to have chemo and lose all my hair, it was really hard to accept at first. Before I started my chemo, I thought, well, now's the time to try out some cute hairstyles that maybe I normally never would have done or never had the courage to do. A couple weeks before I was supposed to start chemo, I had my hair cut into this cute bob style and got to play around with it for a few weeks, and now I know that that's something that I actually really liked. Before I started chemo, I thought it would be a great idea to get some wigs. I wanted to shop for the wigs before I felt sick so that I had them in case I wanted to wear them after I'd had my treatment. I made it into a fun day. My daughter and I went to a wig store, tried on a bunch of wigs, some silly ones, some fun ones. When else are you going to be able to buy a pink wig and wear it? After I had my first chemo treatment, it was about a week and a half later, I was running my hands through my hair, and all of a sudden it just came out in clumps. As much as you can prepare for something, when it actually happens, it is a little bit traumatic. The next morning I woke up and I was in the shower and I was shampooing my hair, and that's when it really started coming out. I took the day to grieve, to be sad. I waited until the next day to buzz my head. And the reason I waited is because I wanted to do it when I was in a really good state of mind, have a positive mindset, and go into it kind of head on. I made sure that I had my support group with me. So my fiance actually was the one who buzzed my head, and my daughter was there with me. This whole journey, you feel so out of control. So to regain just a little bit of my own control and take charge and say, I'm not going to wait for all my hair to fall out, I'm going to take control and buzz it, made me feel good. Because I was such a girly girl and because I loved my hair and I loved glam, I thought that I would have a really hard time with shaving my head. But when it came down to it, I handled it a lot better than I thought I would, and I actually surprised myself, and I didn't really mind the buzzed head look. I kind of thought it was cute. You never know how you're going to handle something until you actually have to go through and do it. A few days after I buzzed my head, my hair was still falling out from the chemo. My hair was so short from being buzzed that it almost felt like these little shard splinters that were just tickling me and in my clothes and poking me. So I actually, a few days after I buzzed my head, asked my fiance to shave my head. I just wanted a completely bald head because it was getting to be super uncomfortable. At one point I even used a lint roller just to rub on top of my head to get those tiny little shards of hair out from my head. Once my head was fully bald, the one thing nobody prepares you for is how cold your head is going to be. It felt like a constant breeze on my head. So I ended up actually getting a bunch of toques and a bunch of hats because your head is going to be cold and nobody tells you that. I love the fact that I had different wigs and different options, and depending on the mood I had that day, if I wanted to feel like J-Lo, I would put on my J-Lo wig. If I wanted to feel like myself, I would put on my black-haired bob wig. Having those options and having it there available for when you do kind of want a little pick-me-up, I found did help throughout my journey of being bald. My hair regrowth journey has been wild. I have been waiting for so long for my hair to come in, and my hair actually started coming back while I was on my Taxol chemotherapy cycles. It was very, very thin. I joked a little bit sometimes that I looked like a balding old man. It came in lighter, fluffier. It almost was like a newborn baby. But it was only recently, 3 weeks ago, that my hair started coming in really thick. My eyebrows grew, my eyelashes grew long enough where I could get lash extensions, and my hair, as you can see, has grown back. It's still a little bit thin on the top, but this is only 3 weeks of growth. I will continue to wear wigs. Sometimes it's fun to just get dressed up and put on a wig and go out and not look like a cancer patient. And And I'll still go out and rock my short little buzz cut too. Whatever your journey is with hair loss or hair regrowth after chemo, after being diagnosed with breast cancer, just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And on those days when you can't see it and you are down, just know that it's temporary and your hair will grow back. And before you know it, you'll be looking back at those photos of yourself bald and thinking, wow, I got through it. I did it. You are a warrior.